Welcome everybody to our February 23rd commission meeting. Reminder, please silence your cell phones. Okay. If you respect each other and address matters at hand, fashion. Indication not to be led, pledge to be led by our district aid commissioners. Mr. Baker, if you could please go first.
I hear. God, our Heavenly Father, hallowed be your name, Lord. Precious Father, thank you for allowing us to approach the throne of grace one more time. I ask you to bless everyone under the sound of my voice this evening. Heavenly Father, I pray that you will help us to make sound and wise decisions concerning the people that have put their trust in us. Bless this nation, my Father. Help us, God of heaven, bless everyone here tonight, Lord. Grant us good health, good strength, Lord, and fill us with your Holy Spirit. And after we've done everything that you assigned us to do on this side of life, we pray that you call us from labor unto reward. In the name of your loving Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior, we ask it. Amen.
The Commissioner Crook here this evening. Yeah, go ahead, Judy, if you could lead our pledge. Thank you all very much. At this time, I'd like to ask our county clerk if she would call roll call.
Beverly Atwood. Tommy Belcher.
Here.
Linda Bruce. Shane Burton.
Here.
Alan Carmen. Brian Crook. Will Dennis.
Here.
Jerry Ford.
Here.
Chris Gregory.
Here.
Jeff Gregory.
Here.
Bubba Gregory.
Here.
Landon Gully.
Here.
Judy Kerr. David Nallner.
Here.
Leslie Overman. Mark Presley.
Here.
Amber Russell. Here. Lonnie Taylor.
Here.
David Thomas.
Here.
Steve Whitaker.
Here.
18 present, 2 absent.
At this time, you've all had a copy of the minutes. If there'll be no changes or amendments to the minutes, I take a motion to approve the minutes. A motion from first and second right here. Tommy and Jerry. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. I have an announcement here that candidate petitions are available at the Election Commission office. They're located on the first floor of the courthouse here. Petitions for the fee offices, which are the clerk, register of deeds, and trustee, and sheriff, closed on Thursday the 19th. Petitions for commissioners, board of education, and mayor are due the 10th of March. You can see Mr. Paxton in the election office for any concerns or questions you have for him. Are there any other announcements that need to be made? Mr. Paxton.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Yeah, just to reiterate, if you are going to turn in your petition, if you can get it to me before the 10th, that way I can process it. I have processed all of the commissioner petitions that I have, and we've so far so good. So that way, if you do need to get extra signatures, you can. I would also remind you that the requirements are that you be in your district for 6 months and in the county for a year. We did have one person who wanted to come be a candidate and unfortunately had not lived in the county that minimum time. So if you know somebody that you think would be a good commissioner candidate, they do need to meet those residency requirements. We still only have one person who was picked up in the 5th district. So if you know somebody over there that would be good to sit on the commission, we need to encourage them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Paxton? No? Okay, thank you. So at this time, as we set the agenda, we need to add resolution 2026-02836 to the agenda as item 11EI. This resolution is to adopt a master plan for the park. As stated in the resolution, the plan will be used for the purpose of funding opportunities and implement projects as consent with the budget is approved. If there'll be nothing else that needs to come or be added to this agenda, we will entertain a motion to set the agenda. We have a motion from Jerry and a second from Jeff. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Citizens' response to agenda items. If you wish to speak to the commission on a specific item this evening, please sign in at the podium up there. You will be called to address the commission at the proper time. At this time, I would like to ask the staff of the from Enbridge to please approach the podium and address the commission on any citizens concerned, if you would.
Good evening. Brian Kuda with Enbridge.
And I'm Elizabeth James with Enbridge.
Does anybody have any questions for them regarding, I heard there was some people had some questions about the mud on the roads. Yes, Chris,
I had a question, but it wasn't related to mud.
go ahead.
Having seen in the last week or so that TVA is reversing its decision on closing the Kingston coal plant, whatever, is that going to impact y'all's plans in any way?
No, they're going to continue to receive gas and continue to burn coal as they released in their board meeting.
Copy. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to ask? Sorry. Yeah. Alan, please.
Yeah, the deal with the mud. Just me, I go through it every day. I have no choice. I either hit the side close to River Street or the side close to 025. Can we get away without wetting it?
So that's valid point. So I know it, and it's been difficult. We've been adding more sweepers, but we've been trying to. So with the freeze thaw, with the rain, with everything, obviously, when we start going and sweeping, and it's wetting it, it's making it muddy, and it's spreading it across the road, and then it dries, and then we are trying to address that. So we're trying to address it with more sweepers to try to not wet it and get it off the road and keep it dry.
My thinking is people could deal with the dust a little better than they could the mud.
Agreed.
All the way down the car.
Yep. No. So we've been adding more to keep up with that.
Amber.
Yeah, there have been several people that have said, hey, is there going to be any cleanup behind what you guys have done, maybe to people's like fields or anything of that nature? They're like, wow, I have something that is just completely destroyed.
Yeah. So all of our, excuse me. So all of our, we have temporary access roads. So all of our temporary access roads will be stored back to the condition they were in before we access them. And then as far as the pipeline being installed across the property, that'll be all revegetated. We've worked with specific landowners if they've had plantings or they want planting plans. Any driveway cuts, driveways will be restored. We've also been driving around. We drove around actually PowerCom today and took a look at the roads there. So again, roads will be restoring to prior condition that we found them in. We can't do any improvements just because that's the nature of our permits. So we can't install new drainage or make significant improvements to the roadways, but we can install them back to the condition that they started with.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything for him? Sorry. David, do you have anything?
He answered my question. I was going to ask you about the roads being restored back because they're the big low pipe are tearing them up and he's on there riding on some roads that are not equipped for that heavy equipment.
Thank you. Amber.
Sorry, if there are people citizens of this county who said, you know what, my area wasn't, maybe it was overlooked and it wasn't fixed. Is there a place that they can contact?
Yes. Do you have the hotline number with you tonight?
I can get the hotline number for you and provide it after the meeting. Yeah, awesome.
I apologize about that, so that I didn't have it with me.
No worries. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything?
Mr. Chairman, I think one of the primary concerns that I've had expressed to me is Boat Dock Road, that when the project's finished, that it would be restored.
Yes,
That's what-
absolutely will, Mr. Mayor. Yep.
Thanks. Well, we really appreciate you coming in this evening to talk to us. Is there anything else you have that, before we let this go?
No, I mean, just, I guess to give a brief update, I mean, have started, bringing out pipe, onto the right of way. So, we'll start installing pipe in the next, approximately 2 weeks. Pipe will start going in, the compressor station and the solar array and Boat Dock Road, those proceed along. Right now, the plan is, to be almost 80–90% complete with the compressor station on Boat Dock Road and the solar array. Our plan is still to be complete and delivering gas to TVA November 1st of this year. So in order for us to do that, our restoration needs to be started, and we need to have vegetation growth. We know, depending on the time of the year in Tennessee in fall and winter, we'll be back definitely in the spring of 27 to do further restoration around the areas and reseed and plant as we need to, and some things that we just can't plant in the fall. But yeah, right now the plan is again to be off the right of way and have it restored to the agency's likings by November 1st.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Gully, could you look and see if there's anybody signed in on the podium, please? Thank you very much for that. At this time, I'd like to get our county mayor's report. Mr. Mayor, you have the floor.
Thanks, sir. Ward School project is pretty much on track right now. We've pretty well, Cliff Salee and his staff have done a great job of prepping it for bid letting, which is going to take place in March, and then we'll have 7 months to finish the project with a couple of months cushion into December 31st. But right now things are going well. The multimodal project, sidewalk project on Broadway is still moving forward, but at a very slow pace. But they told us from the beginning it could be up to 3 years before that was finished. There's still some work with TDOT to get additional funds to finish that project because they misestimated early. I met with Jones Brothers folks and TDOT and the engineer on the bridge and the 141 project. Everything seems to be on track there. They had one bridge pylon that they had to go back and redone, but evidently that's on track too. We do have a brownfield grant that has specified 2 buildings in the downtown area that they're evaluating at this time. One is the depot, and the other is the building known as the PEDS building on the creek. And we should be getting a report on that pretty soon. We're also still working on getting a grant to bring in an engineer on the walking trail on the 13 acres, which would connect the Ward School downtown. It seems like the bridge project downtown is on track. Seems like everyone's kind of adjusted to how the red lights work, and that's going well. Other than that, we'll have a few comments about later on the numbers on the jail project. Any question?
Chris?
One that I've had a few people ask me about, of course, the bridge repair on Broadway. Is there a way to get maybe like a do not stop sign, like on the southbound? Because so many people, and it's usually ones that from out of town, Wilson County tags, Macon tags, whatever, will get to that intersection if they're coming south, down Broadway toward and come there and stop.
Okay.
And people are sitting there back and behind because they don't know to go through the intersection.
Okay. On one end, it says maintain speed. Do we need a sign on the other end to avoid that? I don't know how you can you can encourage individuals not to stop, but yeah, I'll look into it. I'll talk to the folks at Bell. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Dave?
Mayor, have you heard anything on the sidewalk up Broadway?
Yeah, that's called the multimodal project. When they began that project, they said it could be up to 3 years. And I think TDOT's waiting to get the extra financing to finish it. Amy, isn't that correct? We haven't heard from them lately, have we?
Well, I know that they're finishing up the environmental study right now, the NEPA phase. Once that's completed, I think we're trying to divide the project into two different phases as far as the construction. One from the administration building up to McMurray, and then from the administration building back down to O'Reilly's. But I have not heard if we have made any headway on that. And yes, we are still waiting for funding to complete the project.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions for the mayor? Okay. Moving forward to active business, our appointments, you're going to find those on page 17 of your packets. We have the Board of Agriculture, which is, sorry. I did jump. I'm sorry, I got completely out of order. I had messed up, guys. We're going to move to the committee reports. Budget and Finance met on February 17. Chris, can you please speak to that for us?
Yes, sir. Budget and Finance met last Tuesday, reviewed the county financial reports and the trustees report. Only question that was raised on the county financial was a little bit of the sheriff's overtime on patrol and jail were a little ahead of a projection, but we explained, of course, with spat of recent holidays kind of probably contributed to that. I didn't expect that to be a problem at the end of the year. 4 budget amendments, all of which were approved. No debate there. The committee also voted to take $2 million from the 171 Capital Projects Fund and put into 3 CDs, $500,000 on a 6-month, $500,000 on a 12-month, and $1 million on a 24-month CD, and have the interest roll back into the 171 capital projects. And the committee approved that.
Thanks, Chris. Does anybody have any questions for him? Moving on, law enforcement met this evening, actually. Amber, could you please speak on that one?
Sure. Tonight we were given the master agreement between Dr. Carey's office and the jail for inmate health services that we will send up for approval to the main body maybe next month, but the law enforcement committee did approve it. They have the same staffing, law enforcement, PA system is going in the courtrooms. The jail was recently surveyed and it was passed only because we have a plan of action. How long we're going to have that plan of action cover the jail, and it's it's not being up to par. We don't know. We also wanted to speak with the main body if anybody had any questions about asking the mayor's office to get maybe 3 bids for the radio tower that's out towards the 4-way. I don't know if anybody had questions about that. I'm open.
Does anybody have any
Chairs
questions for
here.
Amber? David?
So on that particular situation, has the sheriff presented any specs for the bid process to the mayor's office so that they can put a package together?
Great.
Yeah, the engineers completed their work up there, so we do have specs, and it's just a matter of doing it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions? Yes, Landon?
Ms. Russell, you mentioned the jail not had passed inspection for this time, but not being up to, I didn't catch the phrase you used. My understanding, the original issue with the jail was overcrowding, nothing wrong with the jail itself as a structure. So I'm not sure what you mentioned. That was wrong with the jail, not up to par.
Yes, we were inspected last Friday.
he was there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the evening. He went through everything. And we passed everything that we're supposed to do. Everything was, all the books and everything looked good. The only thing he was talking about, our segregation of the jail, our sex offenders and the other people, we have to lock them up together because we can't segregate them out. We don't have the cells. We got 10-man cells down there. We had to put everybody together. And far as number wise, we were under the numbers we were supposed to be, but being overcrowded with the company can't segregate them out. That's our main issue right now. And he's talking about the physical plant. You know, he said our jail was clean and looked good. It's just worn, outdated. And but he went ahead and passed us, and we're good for a year.
Thanks, Ray. Does anybody have any questions for him? You have anything else?
Another thing I was going to bring up too is last week we had a work session and we were talking about the prison and what work it brings on us. And we had court last Tuesday, and the state indicted 37 more people. A lot of them were drug related cases, workers out there. And I was talking to an investigator Wednesday. He came up and we were talking about the caseload. And I was thinking we had around 200 cases pending, but he told me it's closer to 350 cases. And he said if we didn't indict anybody else right now, it'd take 5 years to clean all that up. I think we had 7 or 8 to plea last Tuesday, indicted 37 more. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I just kind of let y'all know where we're at there.
Yes, David?
So Ray, do you have any figures on what's that costing the county then?
We've been keeping up with some of it, our mileage and overtime transports. We had to go pick one up today out here that was being released to us, but luckily he made bond. We're starting to having to keep the prisoners out there in our jail. So when they get out either on parole or they're flat in their time, they get indicted for new charges, then they become mine and the county's responsibility. And I've got 4 or 5 locked up down there right now from the prison. We got 3 in Nashville and murder charges locked up that they're holding for us. Wilson County's got a couple, and I got a couple in Robinson County. And every time we have to go have court, we got to go pick these people up and bring them back and carry them back. And we had a murder case coming up, supposed to be in this week. It got put off, but we had 3 witnesses we're going to pick up across the state. And I had to talk to other jails to hold them for me during the trial. And there's going to be a 3-day trial. So we're going to go get them from East Tennessee and West Tennessee, bring them here, take them to the jails, and every day pick them up, bring them back. Then when it's finished, carry them back. That's the kind of thing we're going through right now, is all the transports we're having to do. Mountain City, Memphis, we're having to go everywhere and pick these people up. And it's a lot of burden on us and extra overtime.
And you mentioned during our meeting earlier tonight that these criminals that you're just discussing are hardened criminals. They're not the same type of criminals we're used to handling here, and they need much more supervision and are much more dangerous. Correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Whenever I've got somebody that's charged with murder, I have to fill out a bunch of forms. The DA has to sign off on it. The judge has to sign it. We have to turn it in, and it could take 2 or 3 weeks before we can get it cleared. So we're having to keep them down here some before we can get them into Nashville to hold them for us. And the type of prisoners that's coming in out there are not like Trouser County folks or people around here. They're a totally different person. And our jail is so outdated, we're not equipped to our locks and stuff like that. Not equipped to handle 4 or 5 murderers down here holding them.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Yes, and this was mentioned during law enforcement as well. Just a question for the sheriff. When we get around to building a jail, whatever size, whatever it winds up being, will it be possible to have part of it designed where it could hold some of these prison cases to so you wouldn't have to maybe not eliminate having to go pick these people up, but at least cut back on it some?
The state, they're holding a few for me, but they don't want to hold the drug dealers and all this other people like we had found out today. We got another one we got to pick up this week, and but the state won't help us out with all that. Is that what your question?
Now my question, I guess, is like I said, when our new facility, takes shape, will it be possible to have the design where it can house some of the people, that you're having to
Oh, yeah.
now to other
Yeah,
counties?
when it's built, it'll be built for some individual cells that we don't have now. I've only got 2 single cells that I can lock people down in, and they stay full all the time, most time with mental health people. And that's what we're talking about, the segregation on our inspection last week. That's what our problem is mostly, is we don't have the facility to lock these people down and separate them. And a new jail, hopefully we'll be able to build it where we can be able to do that.
Jerry?
I just wanted to ask the sheriff, when they came here, we weren't supposed to have hardened criminals. When did that change?
I can't answer that. Whenever they came here, and I asked them what my role would be in the prison, and they said that we'll do an MOU for escapes and stuff like that, which we did that. And they said, you will never hear anything from us. We'll invite you out for Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving, and it'd be the only time you ever see us. And I haven't got a dinner yet, but we got a whole lot more.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else have anything for Ray? Yes, sir. David?
Just a request that as you're keeping these numbers, to be able to keep them is the overall cost as you can, so that when we go to negotiating on the new contract, we can get you some more funding.
Yes, that's one reason I'm trying to keep up with it close as I can. We can get close to, pretty close where we need to be.
Thank you. Is that it? Thank you, Ray. First response services met tonight. Amber, can you speak to that one for us, please?
I sure can. First tonight was the EMS. They have seen an uptick in calls recently. They are full staffed and will continue to be full staffed after they get the third-party billing that's being proposed. The Chamber of Commerce came with a grant for an ambulance, and so they're hoping to get that grant. They don't know yet. The grant that they have received, they have purchased stair chairs with. They're currently wanting to resurface the floors, and they didn't have any budget concerns at this time. With rescue, they are full staffed. They have 2 that are going to EMT class, 6 that will soon be going to a swift water course. Extrication class is coming up. They are going to add cameras to the building because they've recently had, I guess, some burglary out there. They have applied for a grant. Of course, they haven't found out whether or not they have gotten it yet. We did have a lot of people that thanked the first responders for all their efforts during the ice storm. With the fire, we started running a little bit low on time. There is going to be 3 bids out for the new building that they're hoping to have built for their automobiles. We did vote to go ahead and approve the surplus that's coming before us tonight, but to defer the burn permit until next month.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Amber? Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other committee reports that need to be made or need more discussions on these before we move forward? Yes, Bubba.
I've got a Parks and Rec meeting scheduled for March the 5th, 6 o'clock.
Thank you very much. Any other announcements? Now we'll move on to active business. Board of Agriculture, the appointments are Katie May Harper, Farm Representative Van Thompson, Farm Representative, and Will Dennis for this board. Board of Equalization will be Lance Howell. It's a 2-year term. Board of Zoning Appeals will be Seth Thurman, and that's a 4-year term. If there'll be any questions or comments from the commission, if not, I'll entertain a motion to accept. And seconds from Mark Presley. Okay, you can register on your device, please. Okay, the results are in. We had 17 yes, 1 abstain, so this motion carries. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to ordinances, public hearings. I open the floor for the public hearing of ordinance 339, 2026-01, which is the rezoning C2 to R1 of parcel 018-009 on Highway 25 West, which is on page 20 of your packets. This rezoning request is for a portion of the property on Highway 25 from commercial to residential. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on this? Is there anyone here wishing to speak on this? Is there anyone here wishing to speak on this one? Okay, at this point in time, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing. I have a motion from Chris and a second from Amber. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. We're moving on into the second reading for ordinance 339, 2026-01. This is the rezoning C2 to R1, parcel 018-009 on Highway 25 West, which is again on page 20. Are there any questions from the commission regarding this? Landon? I'm sorry. Mr. Nallner?
Second.
All right, you'll please record this on your device. Okay, the results are in 18 yes and 0 no, so this passes. Thank you very much. We're going to move to the first reading of ordinance 340, 2026-02. This is the combined rezoning regulations. This is on page 25 of your packets. The full document was emailed to the commission and a link has been provided in the digital package form. If you wish to have a hard copy of the 165-page document, please see the planning office. At this point in time, I'm going to have Commissioner Thomas or Ms. Mayan please give an overview of the document, if you will, please.
Yes, sir. This is the same document that we've been talking about for the last couple of months. I think that we've tried to give as much information as we possibly can in regards to this. The only new part to this is the new zoning for the PUD zoning for residential and commercial. I know it was discussed in work session about adding industrial, and that is something I have no problem taking up in committee and doing at a later date. This, we already had language done up for the commercial and the residential. And at the time, based on the recommendation from Rick Gregory, we didn't see a need for doing the industrial. But if this body wants to see that, I have no problem adding that down the road. But this is going to just, as I've said before, we've done no adding. We've tried to do as much to the letter of the law of what is existing is the only thing we're putting forward in the new document. We have gone to extreme lengths to make sure that that is exactly as I have said, meeting after meeting. The instruction I've given at every subcommittee meeting as we're dealing with this. I was just in my idea originally of doing this I was tired of not being able to find things in our own documents. As I was sitting on planning commission trying to gather my information to make good decisions, it was a daunting task to try to find anything the way the two existing documents are set up. I've had other people complain to me that they couldn't find different things. So this is what we've done to make it as comprehensive and is easy. You own property in Trousdale County. You should know what you are allowed and not allowed to do, especially before you buy the property and are locked into those regulations.
Thank you, Ms. Mayan. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
So I know I've given out some talking points. I had given a talk before to another group about the combined ordinances, and it just basically kind of gave a brief overview of the changes. So some things did change, but it is just because we're a metro organization now. We're not city and county. And so one of the changes is that we are now known as urban and general services, urban being in what was city and general services being what was county. The updated languages in our ordinances now reflect the current agencies that are in play. We do have a nice land use matrix that you're able to use where you can find, okay, so this is what my zone is, this is what is allowed, things of that nature. And then we took the floodplain management out of the ordinances and basically put it as an appendix in the back. So it's easier to update because this is a FEMA has not updated the floodplain management in this area in a long time, and this will allow for an easier way to update things. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions? Chris? I'm sorry, David, you were first.
I have no question, but I was gonna make a motion to approve it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this one. So there's no questions. We have a motion and a second on the floor. This is going to be an electronic vote, so you'll please register on your devices, please.
Yes, 0 no.
Okay, the results are in. We have 18 yes and 0 no on that one. Next, we're going to move forward to ordinance 341, 2026-03, rezoning of A1 to I1 on parcel 019-014 on Halltown Road, which is on page 26 of your packets. At this time, Ms. Mayan, if you could please go over an overview of this to following the annexation of the same property.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as you can see, if you do look at the zoning map, the highlighted area that is in blue is the section of land that they would like to rezone to the industrial. And as you can see, it's right next to the other industrial area up there on Halltown and New Halltown. It has road frontage on Halltown, also New Halltown. They do have, when we're doing rezonings and it comes to planning, we're making sure that they do have all the infrastructure available that is needed in order to support that zone. It has a 12-inch water line that is going up Halltown. It has a 6-inch water line going up New Halltown. It does have sewer capabilities going up through halfway of the property, which will allow for a lot of different uses in the industrial zone. In industrial, in the urban services, you are going to be allowed to do anything that is listed in the commercial as well. What questions might you have?
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Mayan? Yes, Chris.
I know it was brought up during work session last week about the need for or possible future need for an access road to the property, just to try to keep traffic off of Halltown and Industrial Park. If and when something comes before planning for this property, would y'all be able to make that a requirement depending on where it went?
So during the planning process, if they bring a site plan forward, we would also require like some engineered plans for stormwater because that's part of what is happening there as well. And that would definitely be a discussion, looking at the different type of roads they are. Are they arterial? Are they a collector? And making sure that they would have adequate, depending on the type of business that they're doing. Yes, we would be able to do that.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Yes, David.
So Ms. Mahan, when you were talking about the sewer going halfway up, if they were to bring the sewer down, is that going to be something, if it gets annexed, is that going to be a water department cost or will that be to the developer?
So as far as having accessibility to the sewer department, it is of a certain size. So depending on the need of whatever they're going to be bringing and developing on that property, that'll dictate what the size, sewer pipe needs to, and that is definitely going to have to be the developer doing that.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second. Landon. You will register on your devices, please. Thank you. The votes are in. It's 18 yes and 0 no. And my notes here has that the public hearing on this will be held March 23rd. David?
Mr. Chairman, I would strongly suggest to the mayor that he reach out to the property owner and discuss any possible avenues to be able to help facilitate moving some of that traffic off of Andrews for the industrial park, working with this property owner to be able to help ease that and make it easier for the community to have more industry in that area.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 342-2026-04, which is the annexation of parcel 019-014 on Halltown Road, and this is on page 31 of your packets. Are there any questions from the commission on this one? Chris? A motion, a second from David. You'll please record this on your device. Results are, and it's 18 yes and 0 no. So this carries. Thank you very much for that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'd like to take a moment, and I wish I had done this a little bit earlier, but I'd like to take a moment to thank Mr. Rick Gregory for all the assistance that he gave the Codes and Zoning Committee, the Planning Commission, in coming and helping us get these combined ordinances put together. And I would just like to thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we're going to move on to budget amendments. Just so you know that all the amendments that we have here, even though they are fund draws, they may be taken in one motion, should that be the will of the body. So at this time, Mr. Gregory, we're going to start through these. So the first one is 101, which is general services, insurance recovery from the Sheriff's Department, which is on page 36. Do you have anything you need to speak on that?
These were gone over work session, but I can. 10111 is an insurance recovery from the Bronco that was involved in a traffic accident back in November. It was totaled out. 10,300 insurance claim. I believe the sheriff told us you bought that for 3,500 back in the day. So, yeah, hate that we lost a vehicle, but a pretty good return on investment.
Thank you. The next one we have here is 10112F, which is medical insurance premiums, which is on page 37 of your packets. If you could again, Chris, you want to speak, anything you want to speak on that one?
Yes, this is a 33,210 draw from 101 fund balance, and it is for increases in medical insurance for county employees. You know, at the beginning of a new year, everyone's insurance goes up. So that's something we never know what it's going to be till we get it.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions on that one? Moving forward, Fund 118 Ambulance Services 118-04, which is the EMS Billing Services, is on page 38 of your packets. Chris, can you please speak on that one?
Yes, the EMS billing clerk retired at the end of December. She's still helping out on a part-time basis, but to fill that vacancy and allow EMS to maintain its billing in a to keep things going smoothly, they're basically taking 22,000 from the personnel line that was the part of that person's salary, and have a contract with EMS management and consultants to handle billing for the EMS department. And that's the cost of that contract is 5% of the net collections. I think that what says $22.50 a month, I believe that's a rough estimate. I think that question came up in budget.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions regarding this one? David?
Sorry, I'd like to back up on 101-12F real quick. I was noticing that the county clerk's office is 8,150 for 3 employees. And then the trustee's office for 2 employees is 1,750. Is there any information on the difference between those two?
So open enrollment happens in October and employees can add at that time. I believe I budgeted for only 2 employees in the county clerk, and her 3rd employee added in October.
So that wasn't just an increase, that was a whole employee added to that.
Correct.
Okay.
That amendment does include in other departments as well, open enrollment. Some employees chose to come on to the county insurance, and we also have new hires as well.
Thank you. Anybody else? We're going to move on to Fund 141 General Purpose Schools. This is the TISA, well, it's 11413, which is on page 39 of your packets, which is the TISA appropriations. And again, Chris, can you please speak to that one, sir?
Yes, this is a internal transfer within the school's budget, 202,801, and if it was questioned that budget what this was for, and we didn't have an answer at that time. Since then, I've spoken with Ms. Cawthorn, the new director of schools, and it was for replacing a chiller at one of the schools.
Thank you. Does anybody have anything for that? Okay, unless anybody wants to pull anything out, we can entertain a motion to take them and approve them all as one. I got David and Landon. So you'll please record your results on your device, please. Results are in. It's 18 yes and 0 no, so this carries. Thank you very much. Our public notary applications approval. County clerk has provided me with a list of our new ones for this month. We have Amy Barton at Core Civic, Emma Bono at Core Civic, Scott Lorick, he is self-employed. We got Natalie Johnson at TCEA and Michelle Farley at TCEA. Take a motion from the commission on that. Got a motion from Amber and a second from Jerry. This was a voice vote, so all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. All righty. Resolutions added, it was distributed at work session, which is resolution 2026-02-836, which is the adoption of the master plan for the park complex. This resolution is to adopt a master plan for the park complex. A formally adopted plan is now a common prerequisite prerequisite for many and all state and federal grant applications. Establishing this plan positions the county to compete more effectively for future funding opportunities. I think at this point in time, I was going to ask Mr. Mayor if he's anything he'd like to address us on this thing.
Pardon me, on points 2 and 3, the plan serves as a guiding framework for future park development. The county mayor and appropriate county departments are authorized to utilize the plan in pursuing funding, but we have no authority to spend money at this point. It's just a matter of, this is a guideline, a master plan, which we have to renew every 5 years in order to continue to participate in these grants. We just need the court to approve the plan as written. It has about 3 options in it. At some point in time, it'll be turned over to Parks and Recs and go from there.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the mayor on that one? All righty. If not, I'll take a motion from the commission. I got a motion first from Jerry and a second from Mark. This one is an electronic vote. So if you can please register on your device. Results are in. It's 18 yes, 0 no. So this carries. Thank you very much for that. This time we're going to move on to other business. This is the proposed jail justice center estimates. Mr. Mayor, you had something you'd like to speak to us on that one?
Yeah, I made contact with Jim Langford toward the end of last week, and he was kind of pressed to come up with some numbers over the weekend, and he gave me very general numbers. I'm going to share kind of an outline with you what he told me, but I would really prefer at the next work session for Mr. Langford to come and show us the numbers and how he came up with the numbers. Basically, in the figures that I showed you at work session last week, we were talking in a range from 16 million to 19 million for a basic jail. When he looked at the possibility of moving both courts there, which would be the clerk and master's office and the circuit court clerk's office with courtrooms, the number that he shot me was between 9 million and 10 million to do that, which means if you take the figures we had last week, he's giving me a range of from 25 million to 29 million. Now, he did say in his last paragraph to me that if the courts were a freestanding building, that could be reduced by up to 10 to 15%. So I really would prefer Mr. Langford coming to the next work session and giving a presentation on how he came up with these numbers. I think the issue we have before us right now is for the court to give me permission to pursue an engineer to get in there so we can start the fill. Filling the property by the current fire department. We'll need an engineer to look at that and talk about the kind of fill we'll need to go forward with that. And that's going to take some time. So we have some time to look at these numbers while that's being done. But I'll be glad to field any questions.
Landon.
Test holes, drilling in that area.
When the time comes, that site will have to be core drilled. And I understand that the 2 acres that's proposed for the jail should be cleaned. That any debris that was moved at some point in time would not be in that area, is what I understand. But at some time there would have to be some core drilling. Now, if we build the property up by 10 feet, that's going to reduce the possibilities of hitting in something that have to be cleaned up from an environmental standpoint. That's a great question.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything for the mayor on that one? Judy?
When you say both courts, and what was the court besides the criminal court?
Then civil. And there's a possibility you could move criminal court and leave the other court in the current building, which would cut that 10 million in half.
Correct.
Basically.
Correct.
And that's something to be thought through.
Yes.
Thank you. David?
Well, it sounds like talking with the sheriff in this conversation tonight that it's the expense of the criminal court that is the issue, not the civil. The civil doesn't have to be escorted by officers back and forth. So it would make sense that we would just move the criminal over for now. And then in the future, if it became an issue, then be able to move it over. But since we haven't paid off the existing building, we might want to use that as much as we possibly can. But I do understand the cost that the sheriff keeps bringing up. And I think that's something we do need to consider, how much that $5 million to build that court over there. Well, how much would that get spent just in transporting inmates across town that way?
And that's an excellent point. And one thing the court directed me to do at work session was come back with 3 figures. One was if we moved everything over there, if we only built the jail, and that's why I want Mr. Lankford to come and be more specific.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything? Yes, Landon?
Just one more, Sheriff, if you would. I believe you mentioned that there are close to 300 on the docket. And it would take 5 years if we started today and there was no new indictments to cover those. Does one court service there, or is there going to be a need for an additional court?
Yes, all the prisoners from Core Civic are in our criminal court. Then we have general session, which Judge Linville's over. There is days that we have multiple courts. We may have C.K. Smith or Judge Byrd. Sometimes we have 3 courts going on at the same time. And a lot of times we'll have to delay one court till one gets finished the way it is right now. And the juvenile court we have in the evenings most of the time.
So my question for you, sir, is if criminal was over with the jail and we had everything else over in the current building, that would be adding a courtroom, which in turn would help alleviate a lot of that bottleneck, would it not?
Yes, it would help out as far as having to walk them through parking lots. It puts a lot of people, the safety issue of it. Where we're doing right now, we walk through parking lots. Still, Core Civic, whenever they come, we had court Tuesday. I think they brought 45 inmates, and we had to leave them on vans and in the buses to bring them in because we don't have room inside the courtrooms for them, and bring them in 1 or 2 at a time.
Thank you. But I think my question is if there is a criminal court at the jail, if all the other civil stuff is over there, that frees up the bottleneck for the criminal court having to wait if there is something else going on, or does it not? It doesn't help at all?
Well, a lot of times we'll have like C.K. Smith be having court. Then we may have general sessions going on too. We have courts, multiple courts the same day. And we just have to do the best we can what we got. Now, if we're talking about doing a courtroom at the new facility, that would free up space here for your civil and juvenile court.
That's what I was saying, yes. If we were to have a criminal courtroom at the new jail.
That's correct.
That would cut down on the transport, the bottleneck and stuff, and that would free up the space over
here. You would still have general sessions at the new courtroom because your clerk's going to be there with all their paperwork and files. And in your criminal court, we have to look at it in each month and kind of see where the clerks do and figure out where they're going to schedule the courts.
Thank you. David?
So Ray, if we were to build the new jail over on Broadway with a criminal court there, so you don't have to transfer those prisoners, you can just walk them right there, even if it's a separate building to save the money. And you still have just a narrow fenced area, going from building to building. Then could you not use, since, as you said, the condition of our jail is in good shape, it's the overcrowding that's our issue. Could you not use the old jail as a holding area, taking the Core Civic inmates and whatnot, where you could hold them in individual cells that way?
No, our jail right now, that we just got it grandfathered in. And once we ever leave it, it can't be used as a jail again. It's out of compliance. The old part of the jail is AED. They're out of compliance. There's no handicap. I have to take handicapped people to other counties to hold them for me because they can't get in and out of the showers and the toilets and stuff.
David?
Well, then could we just not shut the jail down and just expand the jail to another facility on the other side of town? And that gets away from that issue, but gives you more space to keep these inmates in a secure area where you're not having to transport. You could run 2 criminal courts that way.
Yeah, most people, when they build a new justice center, you've got a hallway to take them out of cell blocks right into the courtroom, right in the back door. We're not looking at going through parking lots or having separate buildings. When they build this, it'll be all together. And it takes the criminal out of the public view. Right now, we're getting them off buses out here. People driving by, I have to put deputies doing security parked around the perimeter out here just to watch. Because these people we're dealing with from out there, they're gang members. We don't know if somebody's going to drive by and start shooting. It's a lot more dangerous now than what it used to be.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything on this? Judy?
That should go in the jail is the misdemeanor crimes. They are also crimes. All civil could stay here in town or here at the old one.
Thank you.
But there would need to be a general sessions courtroom and a criminal courtroom.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, to Commissioner Thomas's point, I have talked to the folks from TCI about the possibility of using the old jail as maybe a trustee unit. But what I understand is staffing gets to be the problem if you have too many different buildings. And one of the big issues that we'll be facing, or hopefully alleviate to some extent, is the way a modern jail is built. You cut back on your staff. You can staff it with fewer people.
Thank you.
We did talk about that back a few years ago about using the old jail. But just like what the mayor said, just the staffing part of it, it would cost too much money to keep it going.
Thank you. So Mayor, you needing a motion to get an engineer?
I think we have, the court gave me authority back when we were pursuing the Holder property to investigate properties as such. I'd feel better if the motion were made to let me go ahead and seek out the services of an engineer to get started on that property.
Thank you. David?
I'll make that motion.
Please record on your devices. All the votes are in. It was 18 yes. Thank you very much for that. There you go, Mr. Mayor. Also moving forward on the wheel tax proposal, I would say we probably should table the discussion for the evening until we get better numbers again from Mr. Langford. That will just save a lot of unneeded discussion until we do have hard numbers. Yes, Chris.
Just one question on that wheel tax. And of course, we'd mentioned last week, whether should it come before the commission, should it go to referendum? And of course, the question was raised about the timeline if it went to referendum. Did we hear from Mr. Beller on whether it would be able to go on November? Because as I understand, I think we were too late for August at this point. Did we get an answer on that?
Mr. Paxton's here. He could probably answer that one. Can you come up here?
We're still on the timeline for November. I will tell you, though, that the November ballot is going to be huge as it stands right now because there's 4 constitutional amendments that the state has proposed. And if they all pass again, which they should, that ballot will be quite long. So just, it's fine to attach it to it. Just be aware that it's going to be, we're already discussing some issues about publication and things because the entire amendment has to be on that ballot. So it's going to be kind of complex. But yeah, we're within the timeline there for putting it on the November ballot.
If the commission was to move to send it to referendum, what's the timeline you would need to have wordage or the verbiage on that, sir?
I didn't know you were going to ask me that, so I don't have specifics, but I can get that to the mayor's office.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Judy?
I said ourselves, and a citizen can get up. If they don't like, if we pass it and they don't like it, they can get it up and take it to vote. But as elected officials, we can go on and pass it.
Understood. Thank you. All right. Is there any other business to come before the commission this evening? Judy?
If we were to do that, how long would a citizen's petition, how long would they have to get the petition up to take it to vote? Mr. Paxton, do you know that?
Mr. Ford? Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
They would have to come to the election commission, get a petition, then run that petition. But I don't know right off the top of my head those specifics. Usually we need at least 90 to 120 days prior to an election to get it onto the ballot, to get it, make sure it's proper and stuff. Again, I can get that information to the mayor's office as to what the timeline is.
Thank you.
Oh, it's almost 60 days. It's a timeline if you go and get the petition up, that you had to complete it and turn it in.
Thank you.
I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be.
All right. Thank you. Is there any other business that needs to come before the tonight's commission? I want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. At this time, I'll take a motion to adjourn. First, second, Chris. Have a good evening. Be careful going home, everybody.